Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm here. I am Michael Nansel, or around these parts most often known as Tanya's husband, the opera singer. And I have been enlisted to use my voice to be able to make a few announcements, a few comments, and to do our introductions for today. So, this concert is sponsored by the RRUUC Animal Ministries Social Justice Team. The Animal Ministry Group engages in action to bring about positive change for pets, wildlife, and livestock who share our world, understanding these relationships as moral and spiritual issues. 100% of the donations that are going to be gathered today go to the Montgomery County Partners for Animal Welfare, or MCPAW. MCPAW benefits our community through their work to support animals in the shelters and the pet parents of our community. Their programs include providing a pet foods pantry, veterinary care grants, a cat adoption and foster program, and enrichment for the animals in the shelter. Your donations today, however, will support a new and greatly needed program to provide no-cost spay and neutering support for the services of our county. The cost of spaying and neutering is often a financial barrier to members of the community, and this program will support those financial needs and reduce the number of animals who are homeless. There's going to be a reception with the artists in the foyer, and we would like to thank Wilma Bakes Cakes for donations for their delicious cookies. But I want to tell you that Wilma is not the cook. Wilma was previously a shelter dog and now is the inspiration for Robin's wonderful vegan bakery. Her creations are amazing, so please go and sample them, love them, and when you need some sweets and treats for your events, make sure to look her up. Thank you for the Veg Society of DC, DC Veg Restaurant Week, and Compassion and Climate Partners of the DMV for helping to publicize this concert. Now it's my wonderful and specific honor to introduce our musicians for this afternoon. The cello and piano duo of Christoph Wagner and Joanne Kong has been recognized for their sensitive and passionate artistry as award-winning musicians who have performed around the globe. Known as vegan virtuosi, they have performed at Unitarian Universalist churches around the country and will appear in an upcoming documentary about vegan musicians titled Taking Note. Please let us welcome Joanne Kong and Christoph Wagner for Strands of Compassion.
Welcome, music. Music's power is that it opens our hearts. It awakens our deep inner spirit and reminds us that above all, we are emotional beings with the capacity to feel. As poet James Joyce wrote, "Strings in the earth and air, strings by the river where the willows meet. There's music along the river, for love wanders there. Pale flowers on his mantle, dark leaves on his hair. All softly playing, with head to the music bent, and fingers straying upon an instrument."
Yes, good afternoon. We share with you today a maybe unusual format of a concert or a presentation, because it's not really a concert, it's not really a presentation. It is something in between. And we would like to invite you to just listen and experience, reflect in reference to the fourth principle of the Unitarian faith, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. A free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And we hope we can provide the space today to open our hearts so that we can have access to that search for truth and meaning, because we all have it inside ourselves, this truth and meaning, and we hope we can elevate this today together with you.
We can all agree that we are nourished by this planet. It's no wonder we call her Mother Earth. The strands of our lives are tightly woven together with all that she gives us: the air we breathe, water, fertile soils, and life-giving plants. But human progress, while certainly of astounding achievements, has also separated us more and more from nature, using her up as if she were inexhaustible, depleting natural habitats and our precious resources. Half of all mature forests and half of all plant life is now gone. And an unbelievable 2/3 of wildlife on this planet has vanished just in the past 50 years. It's certainly true that by harming others and harming nature, we only wind up harming ourselves. So can we awaken to a new level of living and being to preserve and protect our planetary home, contemplating with wonder and awe that our internal world and the world around us are one? The next musical selection we will perform is Antonin Dvorak's beautiful Waldesruhe, which translates as Silent Woods.
Thank you so much. Yeah. When we see our world today, sometimes we wonder what can we actually do, what impact can we have. Some things might not be going so well, we think, and we always think, okay, the solutions come from the outside, something else changes, other people change, technology changes. Yet, at the end of the day, every one of us has the seed in us to carry change, to be the transformation to the world we want to see, to be part of that new world we are creating together. So, the concept of spirituality, of faith, of connecting with a higher power than us, connecting with that infinite source of love, kindness, peace, and healing. If we use this as a guiding post for where to put our focus on, and as you can see on that slide, one definition of spirituality could be the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. The quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. Putting our attention towards that inner connection, towards that energy we all have inside us, the spirit and the soul. What does that mean for you? It is an opportunity we have every moment, every day, every second. As we have the power of decision, we have the power of choosing where we put our focus on, to choose where we put our energy, our time, even our money towards. All right? And that's so much needed, we hopefully agree all, so much needed in our world where we see so much devastation. A world which is suffering, as we see, like in the decline of forests, we see in the consequences of climate change, we see in the suffering of so many beings in the world, or even like so many beings no longer being existent, being threatened. So seeing the world where we are currently living in, seeing the devastation, but at the same time knowing that the source of change, the source of healing, the source of peace, the source of transformation is inside ourselves. And we hope that we can nurture this seed today all together. Thank you. There's one person who actually everything I just said says it much better than me. This is Albert Einstein. A human being is part of a whole called by us the universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his or her consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circles of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. The true value of a human being is determined by the measure and the sense in which they have obtained liberation from the self. We shall require a substantially new manner of thinking if humanity is to survive.
Also hear guidance and suggestions from some of the young people in our lives. I'm sure most of you have heard of Greta Thunberg, climate activist. Another young activist is Kamaya Rainey Rao, and you're about to watch a beautifully powerful video that she made 4 years ago when she was 8 years old. Kamaya is the granddaughter of Dr. Sailesh Rao, who is the founder of Climate Healers.
Hey adults, are you ready for today's lesson? Come on in, sit down, and get ready. Hey adults, are you ready for today's lesson? Come on in, sit down, and get ready to listen up. Today's lesson is on deforestation. Before Europeans settled in America, 46% of our land mass was forest. Since then, we've lost 256 million acres, mostly to agriculture. But why, you might ask, do we need so much land to produce our food? And the answer is because we eat animal products. And animal agriculture is really inefficient. Animal farming uses 83% of our farmland, but it gives us just 18% of our calories and just 37% of our protein. So really, we're just wasting that land. We can get more food from less land if we stopped eating meat and just ate plant-based foods instead. We're not the only ones on this planet. We share it with 8 million other species, but 1 million of them are currently threatened with extinction, mostly because of us. And one key reason they're under threat is because we keep cutting down their homes to clear land for grazing farm animals or to grow crops to feed them. It's crazy! And it's also not very nice. How would you like it if a bulldozer ripped down your home and left you with nowhere to go? Well, wild animals need their homes too. Trees are good for wildlife, for bees, butterflies, bugs, and birds. Trees are good for us because they make oxygen. And what do we need to breathe? Oxygen! And trees are good for the planet. They take carbon from the atmosphere and store it away. If we stop eating animal products, we can reduce the farmland we need by 75%. It can go back to nature, to all the animals who desperately need it. And we should start today.
Living for a better planet and living in service of others. As humans, we grapple with so many issues today, whether social justice, racial inequality, and all the conflicts that are happening around the globe. But when you think of it, it really comes down to one idea, so simple yet powerful, expressed through all major religions, the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Such a moral compass can be violated in the most destructive of ways, in war, for example, where one can see a collective enemy as the other, and there's a true loss of our shared humanity. That as humans, we are all equally human and feeling. But there are times in the midst of conflict when that line of separation is dissolved. I don't know if any of you saw the news story that came out last year from Ukraine, a beautiful story about Ukrainians who took care of and fed a captured Russian soldier, even helping him to contact his mother. So in honor of the conflict and all of the tragedy currently happening in Ukraine, we are going to perform Rachmaninoff's beautiful Vocalese.
Yeah, this was Rachmaninov Vocalise in memoriam of Ukraine and that situation, just showing as an example what compassion and love and kindness actually, how this shows up in everyday life and how we can actually show up for our neighbors, our friends, but even for our, if you want, like enemies. And this also goes so beautiful in the tradition of the principles of the Unitarian faith with the seventh principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are part of. Respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are part of. And I just would like to invite you to reflect on that. We are part of an existence, and we can even say we may be part of an existence of this interdependent web. And if you want, you can just take your hand on your heart for a moment. And maybe if you're comfortable, just close your eyes and feel the breath coming in and the breath going out. Even our bodies are like miracles in itself, breathing by themselves. Maybe you feel your heart rate. The heart is beating always for you. And maybe you can sense that gratitude from the inside of your heart. That gratitude of this life we have, gratitude of the body we have, gratitude of the spirit we have. Gratefulness just for today, for being together here today. Gratitude for having this space here to come together, to build a community. And you can extend this gratitude to the people that are close to you, the people you love, maybe even your pets. And we can go even beyond that, sending love and kindness to those who need it right now. From this unlimited source of love and kindness within our heart, we can spread this into the world, to those who need it. To all human beings, to all animals, to all beings, to the trees, to Mother Nature, the oceans, the mountains. And we can fulfill the entire planet just with this loving energy. Let it shine, make it even brighter. Sharing that love and kindness and even joy and happiness with the world we are creating. And I invite you to maintain this image of this word of respect for the interdependent web of all existence, all beings. And we're going to take one more breath together. Inhale. And exhale. Give yourself permission to relax. And when you're ready, you can open the eyes. Thank you so much for doing this together. Thank you.
Part of the miracle on Earth is the amazing diversity of living beings. 8 million species on Earth, and the cultural and ethnic diversity of the human race. And so our task is really to open our hearts to all beings, all animals, human and non-human. Because when you think about it, we are all sentient beings, and in the ways that matter the most, we are not different. We all have hearts that bleed. We breathe, we communicate and socialize. We have families, friends. All living beings are capable of feeling intense fear. We want to protect our loved ones, and we also have a sense of play, and if necessary, all living beings will fight for their lives. When you think about the course of human history and our connections to other beings, it was our perceptions that became different. So we could come to love some animals, yet at the same time enable and bring great harm to others. And this did not happen out of deliberate malice. It was simply the culture that humans grew up in and accepted. So I believe that we can all tie in with our heart centers to know that we can love all the beautiful creatures that share the planet with us. Just think about the many things that animals can do that we can't. Fish can live underwater. Did you know cheetahs can run 65 miles an hour? Dogs and cats can hear better than we can. And cows can actually smell something from 6 miles away. Also pigs. Did you know that pigs are actually smarter than dogs and even 3-year-old children? And more people are adopting pigs as pets. So we're going to go on a little animal journey, and Christoph is going to introduce some wonderful animals.
I guess we can dedicate the next 3 pieces to the animals as part of this existence of all beings, this interdependent web. And I'm sure you're going to recognize some of the animals, because it's from the Carnival of the Animals, from Saint-Saëns, Camille Saint-Saëns. At first, I actually think I don't even need to mention it because you can see it already. Just to avoid any misunderstandings, the next one is gonna be, this one was the swan, obviously, right? The next one is gonna be the elephant. And why don't we actually just all stand up for a moment and walk a little bit like an elephant from side to side? Can like imagine being an elephant, like having really heavy legs and feet. You can make a little bit of noise briefly now here, yeah? Yeah, fantastic, I love that. Okay. And if you want, yeah, why don't you just, like, if it's comfortable for you, like, you can just maybe stay standing, feeling your feet on the ground while we play this. And if you want to move like an elephant, you're more than welcome to do so. The next one, thank you so much. Thank you so much for playing with us together. The next one is going to be the tortoise, and I actually might have mixed up the order, so I'm sorry if there was like a different slide. So now is actually the tortoise, right? So now it's going to get slow again. All right, this was our little intermezzo for the animals here. And we just want to share like beautiful story of compassion. Gwenna Hunter from California is an amazing community organizer who assists disadvantaged communities and helps educate those in food deserts about healthier food choices. And we want to share like a little dream she wrote down with you. I dreamt that I was flying in the sky, overlooking a beautiful bright green pasture. I noticed a beautiful cow looking up at me. Our eyes connected, and when they did, it was like I flew inside of her and became one with this cow. I was the cow. We merged, and I felt her joy, her sorrow, her grief, her love, her excitement, her joy, giving birth to children, loving her children, enjoying companionship and her love for humans. I emerged from the dream in shock, knowing what I experienced had to be real. But of course I questioned it. I was crying uncontrollably because what I felt more than anything was their immense capacity to love. It was a love that was pure and kind and gentle and sweet. It was unconditional. But how could a cow be capable of this? After all, weren't they put here for us? As I cried and sat up in my bed, I suddenly felt a physical warmth on my chest, right where my heart resides. I took my right hand and put it on the warm spot, and I was paralyzed with the most beautiful feeling of tranquility and complete peace. It was so warm and loving and soft. It felt so good that I could have died from that experience. I knew that what I experienced wasn't my imagination, but the cow giving me a piece of her heart and letting me know that they love too and that they love us. So I'm going to share like a little personal story about my relationship with cows. Oh, this is me as a child in Austria. Me and my family, we spent like almost every vacation on that one beautiful mountain spot in the mountains in Austria, and there was a farm. I would always go there and watch the farmer milking, and I would bond with the calves and you see my siblings also. And we were just like making friends with these calves. And you know what they really love, these calves? If you actually put your hand in their mouth before they have two big teeth, right? They just lick on that, and it's amazing. And yeah, so we made friends with them. And one time we actually also witnessed, we woke up very early in the morning because the farmer, somehow we found out that there's like a cow giving birth to twins. So we actually witnessed that birth, and we saw how the calves are lying in front of the cow, and the cow just licks them all over and loves them. And it was beautiful to see, and so I had this really like big love for calves and cows, and took me many years to figure out that my behavior was not in alignment with that, because I still like would have like dairy products, right, and didn't really know what means. And sometimes like it happened that like a calf was gone, and then I didn't like realize what happened to them. But when they were male, obviously they were sent to like to be fed to become big and then become meat. And yeah, it took me many years to figure that out, and I'm so grateful that we have so many opportunities now and so many options now to let the milk of the cow be there for the calf. as I was able to witness it as a child. And we are still like nurtured more than everything else with so many options Mother Earth gives to us. So that's my little story about me and cows. Thank you so much for listening.
So Christoph just shared such a beautiful story, and I think it really points out the power of individual choice. And that's one of our greatest gifts, that we can really make a difference in the world. And I had a very unusual experience in 2019 in the summer when I was visiting Berlin. And this experience kind of energized me to realize just how beautiful humanity is and what we're capable of. I went to, as you can see, outdoor concert in front of the Brandenburg Gate. It was the Berlin Philharmonic, one of the world's greatest orchestras, and they were performing Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. And we associate Beethoven's Ninth Symphony with the famous Ode to Joy theme, the idea of shared humanity, of universal brotherhood, of worldly love and compassion and unity. And before the concert, I was just sitting out there in the audience. There were like 35,000 people at this outdoor concert. And all of a sudden, this feeling just washed over me. It was really powerful. I almost started crying because I really felt that I was sensing in this setting the beautiful love, compassion, and power that we collectively as the human race have. And if we all work together, I think we can surmount any of the challenges that we have today. We know that the vibration of the planet is rising, and perhaps many of you are experiencing the need to raise your own vibration, to raise and expand your circles of compassion. So I think that we're at a point in our human evolution where we can face our problems and create a more peaceful, inclusive, and sustainable world, and we can do it with hope, energy, and optimism.
Thank you so much, Joanne, for sharing that story and adding to that. We also can do it with joy and fun. And that's what we're going to do in the next piece. You know, I'm from Germany. We are always so serious in Germany, but I think, like, you know, we can be super strong together in transforming this world also with joy. And the next piece has something, like, you know, a little bit more lighthearted, by Bohuslav Martinu, a composer from Czechoslovakia, and he wrote variations on a theme by Rossini from an opera. So the Italian opera composer Giacomo Rossini. So you're going to hear that theme at first, and then we play 3 variations about that. And you probably hear like some of that Eastern European language with some kind of weird rhythms and funky harmonies. Actually, Martinu was in New York when he wrote that piece. He emigrated in early 1940s. The piece was written around 1942, 1943 in New York, which is not that far from here, actually. Yeah, and we end like on a little bit more contemplative note to finish this time together. And again, thank you so much for being here with us today. This last piece we are playing is a little bit more in the minimalist style, written by Arvo Pärt. Spiegel im Spiegel, which means in English mirror in mirror, or actually it also could be plural mirror, mirrors in mirror. And again, like ties back to that reflection we thought we can like nurture today here together. So this piece is like around, I think, 8 minutes long and has very few things happening, but this does not mean that there might be more things happening inside us. Thank you.
Just making sure they're not coming back. Guess not. Want to make sure that I remind everybody that there is a reception. You can meet the artists and schmooze and do all kinds of fun stuff with cookies. I also want to make sure that I mention that Dave and Marsha Leonard were running our video today, and Danny Turner is running on audio, so please give them a hand as well. Thank you again for coming, and have a wonderful rest of the day.